Samope, Sampa Dietia, Chimafidi non kotu, era one radio. Samope, Jumpa Dietia, Chimafidi non kotu, era one radio. Oh, and you pampuma, Asam pampuma.
They are four women. They are beautiful with brains. They are eloquent, decent, wise, and experienced. You have heard many, the funny. Now, it's time to hear the experience and the brainy. Meet Selena, Dorcas, Gifty, and Annette as they present the real in common getting. In common BISS chain, the dead, as in Takrenu assume the dead, the real in common getting. Showing live this and every Sunday, 7 p.m. on Era One Radio on Facebook and on YouTube, Era One Radio and on Taibo channel. Kaise, so we see the real in common getting ya. What brabon tete? We nyan konkonsa. We the real in common getting.
Hello. Good evening, Era One Radio listeners and viewers all over the world. It's another Tuesday, the 29th day of April, 2025. We are almost just tomorrow will be the 30th, and then we'll move to May, and very soon we can conquer half of the year. Well, it's another show on the Divine Connection Show. This is the Era One broadcast. I'm broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and also on Modern Ghana Radio. Well, tonight my panel is not here. We are not here. Pastor Akron and Professor Riedu are not here tonight. But instead of letting the studio go fallow, I decided to bring you some exhortation. This is going to be an inspirational message, just about 5 to 10 minutes. I don't think I'm going to even go beyond 10 minutes. Anyway, tonight I want to bring a reflection. Instead of doing my regular broadcast, I'm going to do a message or a sermon reflection. I'm going to reflect on a sermon. This past Sunday, actually Saturday, Sunday, the family happened to be in North Carolina. That is where we were before we moved to Richmond, Virginia. And so my oldest daughter had her birthday, and then we also had a family friend who celebrated her 80th birthday as well, Mama Millicent Bache, and celebrated her birthday, and then Davina Boison also had a birthday. So we went there to, do a combo, combine the two birthdays. We tried to kill two birds with one stone. And of course, the Sunday was a Thanksgiving service for the Baches, Mama Millicent's family. We went to church and to celebrate the goodness of the Lord, because living 80 years is no joke. God Bible says that we've been given 70 years, and by reason of strength, 80. So if you cross your 70 mark and you've entered your 80, that calls for a lot of thanksgiving. So I was there, we were there in church, and of course, anytime you go to North Carolina and it's a weekend Sunday, we have to pass through our previous church. We used to go to Jubilee Christian Church International, which is headed by Pastor B.C. Tofade, a very humble, down-to-earth pastor. He's a beloved pastor. All the Jubilee guys and girls love him. I mean, he is a very sweet man. This man, I mean, I believe if you take Moses, Pastor B.C. is the next pastor you can think of when it comes to humility. Very skilled man. So we're in church, of course, to listen to his message. And this Sunday, he preached on Poverty Conquered, Blessing Release. I think he's been working on a series, a 4-part series that he had begun around the Easter time. But then we were there only on this Sunday, while he finished the 4th chapter of the review he was doing. So he had done cursed, sickness slain, death vanquished, and then poverty conquered. So these are all the works that Jesus did on the cross. He did on the cross for us, because Bible says, cursed is any man that dies on the tree. He came to die for us. And so he was cursed because of us. And he came, Bible says, he became poor, that we might be rich. So all this thing, Jesus said, and he came to conquer death. I mean, earlier on we thought that if somebody dies, that was the end of him or her. But Jesus came and said, I am the resurrection. He died. He came to lay down his life a ransom, died a vicarious death for all of humanity. and he lifted himself again because he had the power to resurrect. So Pastor BC was reflecting on the last point when we got there on Sunday. So he preached on poverty conquered. But let me tell you, before this message, let me even ask, when you hear the word poverty, what comes to mind? When we hear poverty, most of the time, the one word that comes to our mind linked to poverty is money. Money poverty. That's all we think about. Oh, you are poor. You're poverty. That is all we think about. We don't think about the other aspects that poverty could bring to our lives. So this Sunday, we were honored and blessed to listen to Pastor BC give a very good sermon on poverty conquered in relating to the work of Christ on the cross. And he gave a scripture, Galatians 3, verse 3, where he talks about the blessing of Abraham, that the blessing of Abraham might come even upon the Gentiles and the Jew. All of us were in Abraham, when Abraham obeyed the voice of God and sacrificed his son Isaac, and all that Abraham did. Bible says that this man, because of the faith that he had in Christ, he had in God, God justified him. So Abraham's wasn't a works that he had done. Just by the faith that he had in God, he was justified. So the Bible says all of us that come from Abraham, if we have that faith, we are justified. And so he also quoted 2 Corinthians 8:9, and he described what poverty was. He gave a picture of wretchedness, somebody who was wretched. And he mentioned that poverty goes beyond the lack of money. I wish I had a transcript or something, but this is just something that I just thought of doing this evening. I'm on a trip and I said, let me just do this quickly, because if you get blessed in a message or a sermon, don't keep it to yourself. Life is sharing. You have to share what you get. And so I decided with this sweet message from Pastor BC to Fade, I want to share this message so that all of us will be aware that it's not just money that makes us poor. It goes beyond money. As you can see from the points that I'll be listing here, Pastor BC made us aware that poverty goes beyond the money, the lack of it in your pocket or your bank account. All right, so he gave the various types of poverty. Wow. I said, wow, this message is there like that. He began by stating money poverty, which we are all aware. We all know poverty in terms of money. And he gave an example of David. He said, I've been young and old, but never seen the righteous forsaken by God, never seen the righteous begging for bread. And this is the words of David. In writing the psalm, he said, I have been young and I've been old. But anybody who serves the Lord, anybody that has taken the Lord as a savior and his refuge, anybody who believes in the sovereignty of God, anybody who admits that God, his source, is his source or her source, he will never lack. So it doesn't mean that you're never going to be in need of anything in this world. There will be times when you'll be in need. But Bible says the actual, when it comes to need and want, there are difference. In really, really being needful in life, David was saying that in being young and old, he never seen the righteous person forsaken of God. Even in those days, David wasn't thinking about righteousness in terms of what we have inherited in Christ Jesus. Because Bible says our righteousness are like filthy rags. But because of Christ, we have been made righteous because of his death. And so when God looks at us, he doesn't look at our sinful nature. He looks at Christ through us. So we are justified. So he mentioned money poverty. That is one thing that people lack. If you lack money, that is one source of poverty. But it goes beyond that. And he mentioned examples where even in a family meeting, when you go for family meetings, they will say that, oh, because this guy is a very rich guy, he's a man of substance. When they are having a meeting, they will not sit to finish the meeting until they have called, oh, John or Philip or Manson or somebody, oh, this man is not here, we can't hold the meeting because he's a man of substance. But then if you don't have it too, if you are Kojo broke man, when the meetings are being held, they wouldn't even count you. Somebody is mentioned, oh, Mr. So-and-so is not here. Oh, forget about him. He doesn't have anything. What is he going to contribute? Just because you are not rich in pocket. It's very important that we make money. We need to make money answers all things. Money answers a lot of all. It doesn't buy everything in this world, but money buys a lot of. Even these days, money will buy a lot of stuff. Those who think, oh, they have to go and do their butt, their stomach, whatever. Whatever you think that naturally you didn't get, people are making it up. There are women who are increasing the size of their butts. It's all money. It's everything. So you realize that some part of your body is not the way you want it. They just go pay money and it happens. So money answers a lot of things, although it's not everything. So it's very important that you get money. Work as hard as you can, make some money, save some money, because when the need comes for you to pay some things, you will be in trouble. I mean, we are in a country where now recession is almost on the brink of happening, and most people have lost their jobs. And our financial advisors keep telling us that have a rainy day check, have at least 6 months of your regular expenses saved. What it means is that if every month you spend $3,000 in your house, which includes your mortgage, your groceries, whatever you want to, I mean, you spend in the month, if it's $3,000, financial experts are saying that get 6 months worth of that money, which means about 18,000 saved somewhere. So in case, I mean, you are fired in the next minute or day, at least you can take care of it in the next 6 months before you get another job. It's very important. So this financial advice are telling us, try as much as possible, have a 6 month savings site somewhere. They call it emergency fund. It's very important. So money is very important. So that's one aspect of the poverty that Pastor BC mentioned, that it is a very crucial thing when you lack money. It's poverty. And as I said, he explained and gave us all the types of poverty. I believe there is more, but because of time, he gave us what he listed. So money poverty is is one of them. And then mental poverty, beyond physical money poverty. Many people are mentally poor. What does that mean? It is a mindset. It is a mindset when you don't see what God has purposed for you, what God has in store for you. Your mind is mentally depraved. You are mentally poor. I mean, when it comes to decision making, you are mentally poor. You cannot envisage things happening tomorrow or next day. You can't foresee the future and say, okay, in the next 2 or 3 days, this is going to happen. So let me plan accordingly. Nobody thought that we were going to go through the kind of economy that we are going through right now. We have tariffs going through the roofs and things are happening. And most of our federal employees have lost their jobs. So if these people hadn't prepared ahead, or nobody knew they were going to be fired, but it did happen. That is why mentally you have to prepare yourself. You have to psych yourself that anything could happen. It used to be that if you work for the federal government, there was no way you could be fired. You should have done something so crazy beyond repair to get fired. But these days in our economy, people are getting fired for no reason, especially those who are in probation. If you are in the probation period, you can easily be fired. You haven't done anything, but they can use reasons like poor performance. So we have to envisage ideas and think about the future mentally. We have to be astute and think ahead. And so if you lack all these things, that makes you also put in a state of mental poverty. So it's not only your pocket that is poor, but mentally, lacking of ideas, the mindset that you have can also make you poor. And he mentioned an example like, as a man thinketh, so is he. The way you think, the way you see things, that is how you're going to be. For instance, if you see a fair lady that you are interested in, you want to, date her and get married, but you are looking at yourself that today you don't have anything in your pocket, so you're not even going to make any attempt to, woo the person. This is what I'm putting. This is not what Pastor B says. I'm just, adding this caveat. It's a whole mindset. It's a mindset. I mean, when you take a look at countries and other places, the way people think, the way they do stuff, economically, developmentally, you can realize that there is mental poverty. We have to spice up our game. You also mentioned another form of poverty, which is emotional poverty. Emotional poverty, that is when emotionally your bank is dry. Emotionally, you are dry. Little stuff breaks you down. Emotional bankruptcy, you are in emotional bankruptcy. Constantly, you are being sabotaged, or even you yourself, you are sabotaging yourself. Emotionally, you are not strong. You are weak, and you are not. Every little thing affects you. That's why they call people, oh, you are too emotional. You are too emotional. Every small thing, you are crying or doing stuff like that. I'm not saying crying is not good. Sometimes you need to let the tear glands flow. But emotionally, if you are not strong and you lack, the strength, the capacity, it means you are emotionally poor. That is when the emotional poverty comes in. And then you also mentioned relational poverty. Sometimes people feel lonely. In terms of relationship, you are poor. You don't have, you can't even make friends. Or when you make friends, as soon as you make friends, the next day, the friendship is broken. You cannot maintain friendship. Why? Because sometimes your own attitude doesn't allow you to maintain good friendship. You cannot sustain friendship. You are always working alone, or, you can't maintain relation even in the family, your own family. You can't maintain any positive relationship. You are lonely. Have you may even, in this case you might even have money physically. You might have money in your bank account, your pocket. You are rich in pocket, but relationally you are poor. And there are some people who don't have money, but when it comes to relationship, they are loved all over the place. They have good manners, they have good attitude, they have rich friends. I mean, they may not have the money in their accounts or pockets, but then they can call on friends who can help them because their relationship is good. They are very reliable, they are very dependable. You can trust them. Anything you want to do, they can do. They will help you. Relationship is very important. If you lack that, that also put you in a category called relational poverty. And then Pastor BC also mentioned spiritual poverty. So in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, when Jesus was speaking about the mountain on the Sermon on the Mount, he mentioned that blessed are those who are poor in spirit. Here, Pastor BC mentioned spiritual poverty. You are disconnected from God. You are poor spiritually. Some people are poor spiritually. They have no connection with God. They have no relationship with God. They don't even believe in the existence of God. And so you can have all these riches in your pocket, in your bank account, but if you are disconnected from God, you are spiritually poor. A very good balance is very important. And Jesus, John the Beloved, writing to the churches in Philadelphia, he said, I know your works. He mentioned the attributes of the church, what they are lacking. We must desire to grow. Spiritually, we have to grow. You cannot be poor. And how do you overcome spiritual poverty? You have to be connected to God. That is when you have a good relationship with God. Your prayer time, your worship time, you have some discipline with yourself. When you want to wake up in the morning and speak to God and pray, every morning you have that relationship. God knows that between such and such hours of the day, my son or my daughter will want to talk to me. So I am ready for him or her. You have to have a connection with God. It's called what? Spiritual increment or spiritual up there. You are not spiritually poor. And these are just a summary that I'm doing. I wish I had, prepared adequately to do this. So we have to grow spiritually. We have to psych ourselves and get closer to God. I mean, you can even sense within your spirit that there's something working in your body. You have a spirit, you have a soul, both live in the body. And there's that aspect of God that ignites you. We call it conscience. Sometimes He speaks through our conscience. I mean, it's not every day that you hear God speaking to you, my son, or breaking the heavens to talk to us. He speaks to us in a very subtle manner. He can talk to us within our spirit, or even through our friends. And anybody, God can use anybody at all to connect. So we have to come to that point where we have a relationship with God, and then we can say that we are spiritually rich. We are not poor. All right. Then he also mentioned purpose poverty. People with this kind of poverty are directionless. They have no direction. They have no direction whatsoever. They have no purpose for their life. It's like you board a plane and you ask the pilot ask you, young man, where are you? Where it doesn't happen, because even before you get ticketed and you get to the gate to be put into the plane, you should know where you are going. But if it so happens that either you lost your flight or something, you ended up in another plane, and the pilot asks you, where are you going? So, well, I don't know. Wherever you are going, I will just alight. Or example, we can even mention example of, excuse me to use the word, homeless. The people who are homeless, I know there are people, take an example, let's say New York, somebody is homeless and he doesn't have a place to sleep, but maybe was able to sit by the roadside and collect a little bit of coins here and there. He buys a train ticket and he sits in the morning, maybe goes to the back and sit there, and the train will go to one end, full destination, return and go back, and this guy or girl is still sitting in the train. Why? Because he or she have nowhere to go. So the train has become his or her home, just taking ride, because you have no destination, nowhere to go. You are just without any purpose, without any aim. And we are told in the Bible that there is a purpose for everybody on this earth. Bible says in Jeremiah that before you were born, I knew you. God has a purpose for everybody. Not all of us were born to be basketball players or swimmers or I mean any occupation or medical doctors, whatever. God had a purpose for every one of us. We were all created to come and fulfill a purpose on this earth. And you are so unique that what you do, somebody else cannot be able to do it. So that is why you don't compare yourself to other people. Discover your purpose. Discover your purpose. Know the reason for which you were born or created and live to fulfill that purpose. You have to live to fulfill that purpose. You cannot be going around copying people. Oh, thinking this person did this, so I also want to do it. That might not be your calling. It's not everybody who goes to college to earn a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, PhD, or whatever. Wherever you get to, God can use you. That is why when our kids are going to school, we don't force them to become doctors, lawyers, engineers, or whatever, but rather the gift that God has given them, when they go to school, their teachers are able to help them to bring out what is in them. So going to school is not where you go and discover your purpose. You go to school to know that the purpose that God has given you, you are able to bring it out. So you might be sitting in class, some are litigating and debating. Oh, these people are very good debaters. They may end up being lawyers. Or there's somebody sitting in the class, he hates math courses or something. But he will just take a scratch of paper, look at some of the friends fooling around and just scratch them and draw them. And that's it. They do it so easily. Such person can easily become an artist and make a lot of money. Gone are the days when our parents would force us to go and do certain professions. Now it doesn't exist anymore. If you're a parent, do not force your children to do what they cannot do. Lead them and guide them. Find out what they want to do, what they are interested in doing, and guide them. Most of in these cases, when you ask them when they are 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you ask them, what do you want to become when you grow up? Oh, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a doctor. And as they keep growing, they get to middle school, high school, and they keep changing their vocations, because at that age, they don't know what they are talking about. But as they grow up and they go through the school cycle, they realize that, no, I'm good at this. What is inside me can be unearthed if I apply this. So we have to have a purpose. We have to have a direction. Know what you want to do. Know where you want to go. You have to sit down and plan. In the next 2, 5 years, 10 years, what do you want to be? Where do you want to be? Get yourself in. In the next 10 years, are you going to be retiring from job? What do you want to do after that? That is having a purpose. And when you lack all these things, I believe Pastor BC will put you in the category called purpose poverty. Now, another poverty class that Pastor BC preached about was opportunity poverty. You lack opportunity. Doors are closed to you. Anything you want to do, realize that the doors are closed. Might be that the door is closed somewhere else, but because you don't know or you haven't discovered it, you are looking at some fixated doors that seem closed, but you want them to be open. So the opportunities that you are looking for are actually not there for you. Those opportunities are closed, but the others might be open to you. That's what we have to discover. And so realize that you think that you don't have any opportunity, opportunity poverty or something, but there may be other doors that are open to you. But when you realize that all the doors that you want to get open are not opening, that is another sign of opportunity poverty. It could be for some reasons unknown. All the doors you are looking for are closed. That is opportunity poverty. You have to pray for God to direct you. Open your eyes to see the opportunities that are available. When some students wanted to connect to each other, how can we bring our photos and distribute on campus or something? These boys sat down, headed by Mark Zuckerberg, and said, you know what? Let me have a picture of you. Let me have a video of you. Let's put it on something we call Facebook. And tonight you are looking at me on Facebook by courtesy of what Mark, invented. And he's become what? A billionaire because of that. I mean, he just gets up in the morning, puts on some simple shirt, and just browses the internet, and he's making money. Because what? He invented the Facebook and it's making money for him. So you have to look for the opportunities that are available. There are some things that you want to do, they are not coming, but there are other opportunities that are open to you. So it's possible that what you are looking for is not what God has opened to you. There are other doors. But when you realize that the doors you are looking for are not opening, then that is opportunity to poverty. And so when you look at all these forms of poverty, you can pray, say, Lord, this is not the kind of poverty I want. These are even prayer topics. If you know the kind of poverty you are in, and as I said earlier on, when I started in church on Sunday, I didn't know I was going to listen to this message. Of course, we left North Carolina, so we don't live there anymore. But every now and then when we go there, we go to church and listen. That wasn't my regular Sunday service every day these days. That is when I go there. So when I go there, I try and listen to Pastor BC open the Bible to us. Doors may be open, but there could be adversary against you. And even Paul said it, that doors have been opened, but I see many adversaries. And another poverty is what? Poverty mindset. This is all over. The mindset that some of us have is very, very warped. It's very crazy. I mean, sometimes you look at people, a mindset like, okay, you are walking in the street, you drank, a bottle of water, and instead of looking for a trash can or dustbin to put it in, you look left and right, and then you put it on the street and you walk away. You come on Facebook, this is a media that we all can use to advise ourselves, to help ourselves, to upgrade ourselves, to advertise our business or whatever. You come there and you think that coming to be half naked is going to bring popularity. Your mindset is bad. All you are thinking about is, oh, I want to use my body to make money. So when people are using Facebook to spread the word of God or to propagate something better or upgrade their businesses, you want to come there and strip yourself naked for people to admire you so you can get money. That is so bad. Mindset is bad. And it spreads across everywhere. I mean, various occupations and some of the things that you hear people do and say, you open your mouth and say, really? Is this person the image of God? No, we have to tune our minds. Our mindsets are so bad. The way we think, our thinking process is so bad. I mean, there's a plethora of, examples I can give, but I will not go too deep into that. So we'll just take it there. Example, when
They are four women. They are beautiful with brains. They are eloquent, decent, wise, and experienced. You have heard many, the funny. Now, it's time to hear the experience and the brainy. Meet Selena, Dorcas, Gifty, and Annette as they present the real in common getting. In common BISS chain, as in Takrenu assume the real in common getting. Showing live this and every Sunday, 7 p.m. on Era One Radio on Facebook and on YouTube, Era One Radio and on Taibo channel. Kaise, so we see the real in common getting ya. What brabontete? We nyan konkonsa. We the real in common getting.
As I was saying, Pastor Bisi was giving an example of a mindset. Even when he looked at children, our kids, a kid thinks that his father or mother is so rich. If the child needs money, daddy says, oh, I don't have money today. Can we do it next time? No, daddy, you have money. And as they go along, the child sees an ATM machine sitting somewhere. They say, daddy, that's an ATM machine. Go and get us money. Thinking that the child thinks that wherever they see an ATM, the father can go and get money. Not even thinking that the money that is there belongs to people. And you should be a part of that money to be able to go and take something out. You should have a bank account or somewhere to put your card in, to put in your PIN number and take some money out. If you don't have nothing deposited, nothing can come out. But these children think that, oh, once they see an ATM machine, their parents are rich. They should just go there and swipe their card and bring money. And he also gave an example of a homeless man who's been sitting by the road for years, and instantly somebody dashes the person, maybe 100,000. Either they put it in their bowl or they put it in their account. So this homeless guy one day just discovers that he's 100,000 rich. What does he do? And Pastor Bisi gave an example of this guy going around and calling all his friends, hey, Charlie, I'm rich. Let's go and get some booze. Let's go and enjoy life. Buy some food and drink and all that. He calls all his ex-girlfriends and, buy this for them and buy this for them. And by the time they realize, they are back to the homeless seat. Why? Because their mindset, they were not really rich. They just happened to accidentally become rich, and so they couldn't handle it. So if you are such a person, then you realize that your mindset is poor. You cannot manage such increment in life. If you cannot handle it, God is not going to give it to you. I mean, most of us have wished that we become billionaires by now, but it hasn't happened. Maybe we are not working too hard, or maybe we can't handle it very well. It depends. All right. And so Pastor Bisi quoted Genesis chapter 12, verse 1. He talks about the blessing of Abraham, the covenant that God had with Abraham. And he did emphasize that poverty is not the will of God for us. Poverty is not the will of God. In actual fact, I mean, I've tasted poverty and I've tasted a bit of having money in my pocket. And trust me, it's not a good thing to be poor. It is never a good thing to be poor. I have lived in a situation where my mom Me, my mom, and my stepsister, I'm sorry, my cousin, lived in the same one room. I've been there before. Lived in one room, Tesano Police Station in Ghana. You know, if your mother is a policeman or your father is a policeman, you understand what that means. The barracks life is a crazy life, and they give you rooms according to your rank. So if you're a constable in the police, in those days, you have only one room. That one room is your living room, your bedroom, and everything. And the kitchens and everything are shared as compound. So if you're a constable, you and another constable will share the same kitchen. So you are cooking your jollof, and the other person is also cooking bangkung. You are seeing each other's food. And there was a time that my mom and our neighbor in the same kitchen had a fight. I mean, it's years ago. So I've tasted poverty where you lack, and I've also seen where you live in a bigger house where you have, other rooms that you can, So I know the difference. Poverty is not a good thing. I've been in a situation where you don't have anything to go for. You have nothing to go for. You have nothing in your pocket. You can't do anything. And I've experienced a situation where you have a little bit in your pocket that somebody will call and say, hey, I'm in need. Can you send me $10 that you can give with joy? So poverty is not a good thing. In actual fact, God doesn't have a problem making us rich. The problem is that when we become rich, do we still remember him? Or do we use the money for the cause for which it was given us? Some people think that God making you rich means that you have to pamper yourself and spend everything on yourself. Sometimes the prosperity that God gives us is meant for us to be a conduit to distribute, to help others, to help the church do is what he has to do, to help our fellow men. There are some people that need help, genuinely need help. There are also scammers in the system who will take advantage of you and come and scam you. But there are some who genuinely need help that God is going to use you to be a blessing. Can you imagine if you send somebody in Ghana $100? That's like what? 4,400 or 1,500 cedis. That money is somebody's monthly paycheck and can go a long way to serve as capital to help the person. So if you are in a situation where you are not experiencing scamming and you are willingly able to help somebody, can you imagine how helpful that is going to be? So poverty is not a good thing. So we shouldn't think that, if I am poor, I'm going to heaven. No, you can be rich on this earth and also go to heaven at the same time. It depends on how you use your resources. If you become rich and you only use it for yourself, you are wicked and all that, then that prosperity is not serving a purpose. We have to be so rich that we can be able to help others without even affecting us. I mean, we used to say that, oh, I wish I would win like $1 million of money from lottery. Then I can just, well, that 1 million lottery money is not coming now. But what you have, are you able to dispense it genuinely? Take care of yourself. And if there's little left, you can help other people. It's very important because Jesus said, as for the poor, they will always be with us. So poverty can never be squashed on this earth. Poverty will never, I don't know when, poverty will never be squashed. Even when we are all rich, some will be billionaires, some will be millionaires, and some will be thousandaires. So there's still going to be a gradation of, riches. I mean, we are all not going to be the same. That one is not going to happen. Not all of us will be the same round. Not all of us will have $1 billion in our accounts. Some will be 1,000, some will be 2,000, some will be 5,000, some will be 1,000,000, some will be billion. Some are also going into the trillions, So it's going to be there. But poverty is not a good thing. If you have enough and you are able to lead a good life and help other people, that is what prosperity is. You have some, it just doesn't have to be always to the brim, but you have some and you are able to give some to other people. Unfortunately, some will come and do all kinds of skirmishes and all kinds of scamming to get what you have. But genuinely, when God blesses us, the purpose is for us to also be a blessing unto others. All right, let me go to the final area. I thought I was going to do this thing for 2 minutes, but see where I am, 6:47. All right, so Pastor BC gave us the 7 pillars of the blessing of Abraham. He mentioned divine multiplication, divine favor, identity of influence, generational impact, divine protection, global reach and purpose, and spiritual inheritance. These are the blessings that God prescribed and gave to Abraham. And according to Pastor BC, as believers, we are also able to inherit this. Natural fact, Jesus came to make this solid. He said, I came to make your life even better, to give you a life abundantly. I came not to destroy your life, but I came to give you life in abundance. So Jesus came and cemented this thing that God gave to Abraham. And Bible says that the Old Testament was a shadow of things to come. So Jesus came to fulfill the scriptures. And in Jesus, we are rich. For our sakes, he left his divine throne in heaven to come on this earth in actual fact to teach us the ways of God. He was broken, he was stripped. He was given a ton of crowns which he didn't need, pierced. His side was pierced, and Bible says he didn't even own a Ferrari or what is it, a Mercedes Benz. The only thing he rode on was a donkey. It wasn't even a horse. He didn't even ask for a horse, just a donkey, something to transport him to Jerusalem. He became poor that we might become rich. So poverty is not a good thing. It is not. Poverty is not a good thing. And so don't pray for poverty. Don't pray for poverty. Pray for riches that will be used to the glory of God and to help fellow men. Can you imagine that you can help so many? There's so much joy in giving. When you give something to people, it is so exciting. You feel so blessed. Beside those who come to scam, beside the scammers, but the rare people who have need, that when you send something little, it elevates their lives and they can maybe pay something they owe, or you can put a little bit of bread on their table, to make them be able to afford something. It's very important. So these are the 7 pillars that Pastor BC gave us. Divine multiplication. When the blessings of Abraham come upon you, everything you do multiplies. Everything you do multiplies. You are multiplied in everything you do. There's that divine multiplication that you touch this and it increases. Even when you put $1 here, you start a business, you start $100 business, and by the following month, it has sprouted and you are making more. When the blessings of God are upon you, you see multiplication. And divine favor. What is that divine favor? Everything you touch. There's some immeasurable blessings that you alone experience, or something that under normal circumstances you will never get. Something that you could never on your own. You are earning promotion. You are getting this. You start something and it flourishes. Your children are making it. That is divine favor. An identity of influence. Like I said, when there's a family meeting and you are not there, the meeting will not proceed because they have to listen to what the wisdom you have to talk about. Generational impact. It doesn't just go beyond you. Your children are all impacted. When you leave your children inheritance, it goes to their children and their children. That's what the Bible says. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children and their children. You don't live and come and live and say, oh, the money or whatever I enjoyed, I'll leave it, and then you'll be broke. And then when you are dead, they have to do go fund me to be able to bury you. We have to be very smart. Whatever we have to do to put things in place. When you die, you are gone. You are not living dead. Make sure when you die, you are not leaving your wife, your husband, your children dead to go and pay. You are rather leaving them inheritance. Something can say, oh, daddy left us this. My husband left me this. My wife left me. You are not putting them in a situation where they have to beg people, oh, let's do 10, 10, 20, 20, 30, 40, 50 years to be able to bury you. Set your house in order. Plan ahead. Don't be poor purposefully. Plan your life ahead such that when you die, you have things arranged. Oh, when I die, this is the casket I want you to use to bury me. I have this money here. You do this, do this. You die and there is nothing the family is going to cry about. It's so sad that when people go to funerals, they are not crying because of the person who is dead. They are crying because of the debt that is going to come after burying the person. Because the food they're going to eat, they borrowed money to buy all those groceries to do the food, and people are coming to eat, and some will not even leave any tip or any gift. Some people go to funerals, they just go and eat the food and leave. But the people who are organizing the funeral, maybe they went to borrow money, hoping that people will bring some contribution. We'll call them in Sawabodie. They'll bring something to offset the cost. Some will do funerals and they rather incur costs. So we have to be able to leave good generational impact, divine protection. When you are blessed, you are protected wherever you go. Even when the enemy is after you, God is protecting you. We need that divine protection. We need that blessing. And global reach. Your presence is not just in your location where you are located. It goes beyond your boundary. Goes beyond your boundary. Goes beyond your boundary. Not just the small area you live, but then it goes international. Your name is everywhere. There are people who started small, but their names are all over. Today, who doesn't know Mark Zuckerberg? Who doesn't know Facebook? Who doesn't know Instagram? Who doesn't know all this social media? So we have to. And tonight, because of Pastor Bishop's blessing, I'm also able to share the blessing that he gave us, so we all can be a blessing. spiritual inheritance. You have not just living on this earth and dying, but you know that when you leave this earth, you have somewhere to go. Your family has a spiritual inheritance. It's not just physical inheritance, but spiritually too, we are blessed. An example Pastor BC gave was Jabez. Jabez cried unto the Lord to bless him. Said, Lord, bless me and increase my tent and my coast. And the Lord did it. We have to break the spirit of poverty and activate the blessing that was placed or given to Abraham. And he gave the example how to break the spirit of poverty and activate the blessing. We have to receive the full work of Jesus Christ on the cross. We have to obey financial principles of the kingdom. There are principles that we have to live by. These things do not come automatic. They are not. It's good to pray, but there are principles in the kingdom that we have to follow. If you don't go by the principles, the policies do not work. There is a principle that works the kingdom. There is a kingdom that God operates. And in that kingdom, there are principles, there are rules. If you deviate or you shake those principles, these blessings will not come. You will continue to be poor. There are principles. Bible says, he who doesn't work should not eat. It's good to pray, but after praying, get up your behind and go and work. And when you work and you mix it with faith, that's when the prosperity comes and you can say you are not poor. So these are some of the lessons that I learned on last week Sunday that I thought I would share with you. So Pastor BC, all the credit goes to you. Thank you for an awesome message. I was blessed and I thought, you know what, I don't want to be selfish. I want to share this message because we have thought that when you talk about poverty, all we know is the money poverty. If your pocket is dry, then you are poor. But these lessons show that there are more aspects of poverty that we have to know about. If you are relational poor, if you have money in your bank account and you are relational poor, people don't come to you. They know you are something else. But you can be poor and have good relationship. But I would rather have a good relationship and also be rich in spirit and material. Thank you very much. Well, next week my team will be back and I'll meet you again here same time next week. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Chimafidi nunkotu era one radio. Jumpa bietia. Chimafidi nunkotu era one radio. Oh, ayumpamchuma. Chintu, asampamchuma. Chintu, agratumchuma. Era one, lebo yumpamchuma.
All right, I'm off. I just want to let you know that my website for my book is out there. https://Boison Literary Project. If you type in this project, you'll see my book project, and there are other blogs that I'm going to be creating. So next week I will properly, announce it. Until then, have a good evening, and I'll see you this Thursday again on Divine Connection. Bye-bye.
They are four women. They are beautiful with brains. They are eloquent, decent, wise, and experienced. You have heard many, the funny. Now, it's time to hear the experience and the brainy. Meet Selena, Dorcas, Gifty, and Annette as they present the real in common getting. In common BISS chain, the dead, as in Takrenu assume the dead, the real in common getting. Showing live this and every Sunday, 7 p.m. on Era One Radio on Facebook and on YouTube, Era One Radio and on Taibo channel. Kaise, so we see the real in common getting ya. What brabon tete, we nyan konkonsa, we the real in common getting.
Not your typical tea. The Fumigio Herbal Tea by Glucose Care International is a nutritious drink and a natural blood glucose reducer. Gymnema plant, the active ingredients in the Fumigio Herbal Tea suppresses the absorption of carbohydrate ingested from your diet. The green tea content in the Fumigio Herbal Tea promotes rejuvenation of dead cells, detoxification of your system, stimulates the pancreas to release insulin, and improves metabolism. Drinking one sachet of Fumigio Herbal Tea after meals prevents the rise in blood sugar levels, suppresses appetite, and improves bowel movements. Drinking Fumigio herbal tea regularly after meals can also prevent type 2 diabetes. We encourage you to drink Fumigio herbal tea 3 times in a day, coupled with mild exercises to maximize its benefits. Fumigio herbal tea has been approved by the FDA. Toxicity test conducted by SGS, so it is safe and non-toxic. A product of Singapore. With Fumigio herbal tea, your peace of mind is guaranteed. Call Ashok